What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Now, this had the most votes in the comment section below. Like, I thought it was 2000. Initially, I thought 2000 was going to be the most voted one, but it turned out to be 2009, shockingly. Now, comment down below which Royal Rumble you want me to review next. If you ask for 2000 and it's the most request, I will do that one. But if you ask for 2005, then I'm going to have to do 2004 and 5. So comment it down below. If you say 2005 or 2004, I'm going to do both of them anyways. So whatever one you comment, I'm going to do both anyways. It's simple as that. As for 2000, I'm going to only do 2000. Now, a few days ago, you guys voted on a certain episode of Raw for me to talk about. And that was the one where Austin was looking for McMahon the night after Judgment Day 98. That one's a good one, and I think I'll do it next week. I should also talk about the first week WWE went HD. I'm not sure though, but if you guys like that idea, comment it down below and I'll be sure to do it. Now, let's talk about this one. Man, I enjoyed watching this one a couple of years ago. Since it was the most liked comment on the last video, I decided to watch it once again and cover it on this channel. 2009 was a mixed year for WWE. On Mondays, Raw was mostly bad. But listen, Raw from January to April was way better than it was from May to December. Like, Raw was pretty decent at this time. Tuesdays was good, ECW obviously, but it wasn't watched by many. Like, it was good, but not many people watched it. As for Fridays, well, Fridays were always awesome. SmackDown was a gem in 08 and 09. Like, I loved it. I mean, Kozlov's undefeated streak wasn't that interesting. There were some other things that weren't that good, but guys like MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Jeff Hardy were awesome. There were other guys like Edge and Triple H who I believe had a underrated run during this time period. Although you could say that Jeff Hardy basically contributed to most of Triple H's underrated run, because those two had some awesome matches. And that's WWE's state in 2009. Like, that's how it was. Now, in this video, I'm going to be covering the Rumble of 09. The theme song for the pay-per-view was Let It Rock by Kevin Rudolph and Lil Wayne. Now, let's get into it. Royal Rumble 2009 was held in the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan on January 25th, 2009. This was right when the Detroit Lions went 0-16, and I just wanted to mention it because that year was so dark for Lions fans. Royal Rumble 2009 had a buy rate of 450,000, which was down from the 533,000 of 2008. Anyways, the main story of this Royal Rumble was about the Viper Randy Orton. I'll get to that story in a minute, but Orton was in a do or die situation. If Orton got eliminated from the Rumble, then he's fired. I'll get to that, but right now let's get into the event. The first match was for the ECW Championship. Jack Swagger defended his newly won title against the former champ Matt Hardy. Swagger captured the title on the January 13, 2009 episode of ECW. He slammed Matt Hardy's head into the exposed turnbuckle to capture the title. Swagger had just debuted 4 months prior, so they had high hopes for the All-American American. Matt Hardy held the title for 4 months, and I honestly don't remember much from that title reign, bar his small feud with Mark Henry. Now, about the match, it was fun. It was the best match to open the event. Hardy started off trying to turn the match into a fight because if the match was grounded, then Swagger had the advantage. Hardy had the upper hand initially, but then Swagger got the upper hand after throwing Hardy to the outside. Matt landed on his shoulder and Swagger began to target the shoulder. Swagger hit moves that involved damaging the shoulder, and Hardy began to sell the shoulder obviously. Hardy then made a comeback after pushing the All-American American off the top rope, and Hardy had a moonsault and nearly kneed Swagger on the way down. Swagger kicked out, and then Hardy attempted the side effect, but to no avail. Swagger rammed Hardy into the steel post, which hurt his already injured shoulder, and then Jack Swagger hit the gut-wrench powerbomb for the victory. It was a good way to open the show. Hardy tried to hit the big moves on Swagger, and he did hit some of them, but it was ultimately his shoulder that cost him the match. Matt Hardy, after the match, looked disappointed in himself for failing to beat the All-American American. You get it. Following that, they showed a clip from earlier that night of Randy Orton arriving to the arena. Everyone was disgusted at Orton, and I'll get to that soon. The next match was for the WWE Women's Championship. Beth Phoenix defended the title against Melina. Now, Melina won a number 1 contenders battle royal on the December 29, 2008 episode of Raw to get to this point. But watching this match, I was confused as to why Rosa Mendes didn't interfere. Now you might be asking, why the hell would Rosa Mendes be involved? She debuted on the main roster as a fan of Beth Phoenix, and after jumping the rail and attacking Melina like several times, she was then banned from attending any WWE event. On the January 19th episode of Raw, Santino gave Rosa Mendes an internship, and after begging Beth Phoenix, she accepted. Now, this match was awesome for a 2009 Divas match. Scratch that, it was good regardless of the year. Like, there were some hidden gem Divas matches from 2007 to 2012. It wasn't like every match sucked. There were some gems. It's simple as that. For some reason, some of these matches are slept on and they're not mentioned, but I don't know why they're not mentioned. It's simple as that. Maybe because it was a dark period, I don't know. During the match, there were some Santino chants. Phoenix had the advantage during the match after throwing Melina off her shoulders. From there, she applied this submission move and she tried to bend Melina's leg. She even hit Melina with her own leg. Damn. Melina tried rolling up Phoenix later on, but to no avail. Near the end of the match, Melina tried to hit Primal Scream, but Phoenix countered and tried to hit the Glam Slam. It was countered into a smooth roll-up by Melina, and Melina ended up winning the match and the title. Beth Phoenix's title reign ended at 5 months. Overall, it was a good Divas match. I feel like Melina's a bit underappreciated because she was awesome, flexible, and she could have a good match. As for Beth Phoenix, I love the partnership she had with Santino. She was like the boss of the two. So yeah, that match was pretty good. The next match was for the World Heavyweight Championship. John Cena defended the gold against JBL. Now, the main story of this match wasn't JBL versus John Cena. It was mostly about JBL and Shawn Michaels' partnership. At Armageddon, Shawn Michaels announced that he's fallen on hard times and that he's gonna take up JBL's offer to be his employee. JBL in return would pay all of HBK's debt, I think, and he's gonna financially set HBK for life. I think that's how it was. On the last Raw of 2008, Shawn Michaels and JBL participated in a fatal 4-way elimination match with the winner facing John Cena at the Royal Rumble. HBK eliminated both Orton and Jericho, which meant that there was only one man for Michaels to eliminate, and that was JBL. JBL ordered Michaels to lay down. Now, you guys know that HBK claims that he lies down for absolutely nobody. In this case, he laid down for JBL, and the Texas Loudmouth became #1 contender. In the build-up to the match at the Royal Rumble, HBK beat John Cena after Cena was distracted by JBL. On the final Raw before the Rumble, Cena questioned Michaels' decision to join JBL. Cena told HBK that he competed against a showstopper last week, not a broken man. He told HBK that he's Mr. WrestleMania and that he's not JBL's puppet. JBL got involved and said that this isn't personal, it's just a business decision. HBK would then shut up JBL, and he said that he's disgusted that he has to take money from such a disgusting individual like JBL. Then Michaels focused on Cena. He told Cena that if he has to cost him the world title, then he will do so cause JBL's his boss. JBL's reason for hiring Michaels is because he wanted to be world champion in his home state of Texas at WrestleMania, and he believes Shawn Michaels is the guy to do it. Before the match, JBL said that when he becomes world champion, he's paying all of the money he owes Michaels and HBK will be free. He also guaranteed Michaels a spot in the Royal Rumble, and he even mentioned a WrestleMania match between the two. JBL left and Michaels looked into a mirror. As Michaels turned around, there was the Undertaker. The dead man said that sometimes it's hell trying to get to heaven. There it was. They teased the match 2 months beforehand. Now, the match between JBL and Cena was decent. I called it a bad match in a previous video, but I take that back. Like, I appreciate it more now than I did the last time I watched it. It was kinda slow, but HBK made up for it. Like, if it wasn't for HBK, I don't think I'd like this match. Michaels was the wild card in this one. Was he gonna cost Cena the title? Was he gonna end his partnership with JBL? What was gonna happen? Near the end of the match, Cena locked JBL in the STFU. HBK made a slight distraction, which led to Cena getting shoved to the outside. JBL hit the clothesline from hell on Cena, but Cena kicked out. JBL then stared a hole into HBK, and Michaels was like, what did I do? Like, what's wrong? Just look at it. It's so awkward. JBL then accidentally kicked the referee, which led to both men clotheslining each other. HBK decided to get involved, and he began teasing the Sweet Chin Music on John Cena. Once Cena recovered, Michaels hit JBL instead, and the crowd went wild. Cena began to smile, and he approached HBK, and he got a Sweet Chin Music too. Michaels then grabbed JBL and put him on top of Cena. Michaels left, and the ref was down, and it was a mess. It took several seconds for another referee to come out. By the time the ref came out, Cena kicked out. Once both men recovered, Cena hit the AA to retain his title. Now, JBL could have won the title due to this storyline. I think if it wasn't for them planning the HBK and Undertaker match, then JBL would have definitely won the title, because this story kind of warranted it. Like, it makes sense. JBL specifically hired HBK so he could walk into WrestleMania as champ. It's simple. But it all turned out better in the end because we got a 5-star match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, so it was all good in the end. The next match was for the WWE Championship. Jeff Hardy defended the title against Edge. As you guys know, these two have feuded on and off for a decade. This edition of the feud started after Edge stole Hardy's place in the triple threat match at Survivor Series. Everyone accused Edge of attacking Hardy. Edge denied attacking Hardy, and at Armageddon, the charismatic Enigma captured his first WWE Championship in a really great moment. It was simply fantastic to see Hardy as champ. Now, Jeff from there on was targeted by someone. He was pushed off the side of the road by someone, and on the January 16, 2009 episode of SmackDown, Edge hosted the Cutting Edge. The Rated R Superstars guest was Jeff Hardy. Hardy made his entrance as usual, but then a pyro accident occurred. Hardy still accused Edge of trying to end his career, and so that is how these two came to be once again. Right before the match was about to begin, Vicky Guerrero came out and made the match a no disqualification match. match. Edge came out with Chavo Guerrero, and it was clear that Edge knew of this stipulation beforehand. The match itself was good. It started off like a normal match with both men exchanging the upper hand, but then Edge started to gain the advantage later on, and he was in control of the match. Hardy started to make a comeback once he saw Edge grab some chairs, and from there he dived onto Edge, and he also hit a sick twist of fate on the ring apron. Hardy then grabbed a ladder from under the ring, and he intended to jump off the ladder onto Edge, but then Chavo got involved and he instead was placed on the announce table. Hardy jumped off the announce table and he barely got Chavo. It was a risky dive, as you could see. Like, Hardy should have moved the ladder a bit closer. Hardy from there would hit a crossbody and he nearly won the match. Edge recovered and he also was about to win the match after a smooth counter from a twist of fate to the Edgecution, or the Impaler DDT, whatever the hell it's called. Now, Edge exposed the ring turnbuckle earlier on and he'd once again gained the upper hand after he dropped Hardy into it. The Rated R Superstar then looked for the spear, but that was countered into a sick twist of fate. That counter was awesome. The charismatic Enigma went up to the top rope, but Vicky came out and Hardy pushed her out of the way. Hardy then hit the Swanton and it looked like he was winning, but then Vicky pulled the ref. Matt Hardy suddenly came out with a chair. He handed the chair to his brother, but then he grabbed another chair, which meant that they were signaling a concerto. Then Matt suddenly whacked his brother with a steel chair. Edge recovered and he pinned Hardy to get his 4th WWE Championship and his 7th World Championship overall. Hardy walked all the way to the back with no emotion while Edge celebrated with Vicky. It was a great match and it was the best match up to this point. Christian was initially going to be the one who interfered in this match, but plans got leaked and instead he moved to ECW and Matt Hardy took his place. Matt Hardy turned heel again on his brother. Like, it led to that feud between the two and they had that underrated WrestleMania 25 match. So yeah. Following that, Randy Orton was interviewed by Todd Grisham when Chris Jericho interrupted. Jericho told Orton that he doesn't hate Orton for punting McMahon, and then he called the McMahons vengeful people, and he told Orton that this is probably his final night in WWE. And the main event, the Royal Rumble match. This one had one story throughout the match: Randy Orton. Randy Orton punted Mr. McMahon on the previous Raw, and man, was that a rough kick to the head. Orton was about to be fired by McMahon, hence the attack on him. I'm not sure if Orton was going to be fired if he lost, but that's what it looked like. Rey Mysterio and John Morrison started off the matchup. The two had a fun few minutes before Carlito came out. Carlito spat apple in Morrison's face, and he hit a springboard moonsault on him. MVP came out in number 4, and MVP had a fun showing. He threw Rey for a belly-to-belly, and he gave Morrison the ball and elbow. I don't even know what it's called. Number 5 was the Great Khali, and Khali made easy work of all the guys in the ring. Then out came Vladimir Kozlov. The two tried to knock down each other, but then Kozlov overpowered Khali and eliminated him. Kozlov avoided a boot from MVP and he threw him over the top rope. Carlito was also thrown out by Kozlov. Kozlov was dominating and he swatted Rey Mysterio from the air. Then out came number 7, Triple H. Kozlov and the game went toe-to-toe and Triple H ended up throwing Kozlov out of the Rumble. Number 8 was Randy Orton and Triple H was focused on Morrison, but then when Orton entered the ring they fought. Orton ended up gaining the upper hand, but then Triple H attempted the pedigree. Morrison made the save for Orton, and yeah, that's how it was. Number 9 was Crime Time. We don't know which one of Crime Time it was until they flipped a coin to decide who enters. JTG trolled Chad by flipping a double-sided coin. JTG entered the ring and he got his stuff in, and Randy Orton would finally get some help when Ted DiBiase entered the Rumble. Number 11 was Chris Jericho, and from there the ring began to fill up. Orton went on an RKO spree, which was ended by Triple H, who hit a pedigree. Like, that RKO rampage was awesome, but then Triple H crashed the party. Triple H then threw Morrison into Miz, which eliminated both of them. Also, Rey Mysterio literally used Morrison and Miz as stepping stones to escape elimination. Orton got more help when Cody Rhodes entered at number 15. The trio ganged up on many of the contestants, including Triple H. Rey Mysterio also dived into an RKO. Number 16 was The Undertaker, and everyone in the ring lined up to prepare for the dead man's arrival. The Undertaker was on a roll, striking anything that moves, and JTG was thrown out by the dead man. Number 17 was Goldust. Goldust knocked down DiBiase, and Cody Rhodes pulled Goldust from his tag team partner. This resulted in a stare down between the two brothers, and Goldust struck first. The two fought one another, and Goldust had the upper hand, but then Orton walked up to Goldust and delivered the RKO. Orton instructed Rhodes to eliminate his brother, which he did. A few minutes later, the ring was so damn full. Like, there was 12 people in the ring at one point, and 20 men had entered up to this point. Like, only 8 men were eliminated. Kane and The Undertaker had a mini Brothers of Destruction reunion, and number 25 was a surprise: Rob Van Dam. The superstars in the ring were shocked, and RVD went through all of them. Van Dam hit the Rolling Thunder on both Triple H and R-Truth. He had a good showing, basically. The Brian Kendrick then entered the Rumble, and Kendrick threw Kingston out of the Rumble and he began dancing. Triple H took notice and tried to throw Kendrick out. He botched that as Kendrick bounced through the ropes, and then Triple H corrected the mistake by throwing him out a second time. This time, the Brian Kendrick was out of the Royal Rumble. Number 27 was Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler sprinted to the ring and he introduced himself to Kane. Kane then greeted Ziggler right out of the match. Santino Marella entered the Rumble at number 28. Right when Santino entered, Kane eliminated him. Santino, as you all know, set the record for the fastest elimination in Rumble history at 1 second. That's not fair. He wasn't ready for that. Number 29 was Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The first Royal Rumble winner entered the ring and he threw rice to anyone in his way. Oh, and he even knocked down The Undertaker. The final entrant was The Big Show. Once again, the superstars lined up thinking of a way to throw out The Big Show. The Undertaker was the first man to step up to The Big Show, but then Kane got involved and those two fought one another. Jim Duggan was thrown out by The Big Show, and Big Show also threw out R-Truth. CM Punk avoided elimination from Big Show 3 times, but the 4th time, Punk was given a KO punch and he was out. Hornswoggle got involved for a few seconds and Kane eliminated Finlay. Big Show threw out Rey Mysterio and Mike Knox. Once everyone was down in the ring, Big Show and The Undertaker fought and it led to nothing. RVD hit the 5-star frog splash on Orton and Van Dam was hurting. Jericho capitalized on this by throwing Van Dam out. Jericho was smiling, but then he realized that someone was behind him. The Undertaker and Jericho fought, and Jericho even hit a code breaker, but then he was thrown out by that dead man. Meanwhile, DiBiase and Rhodes saved their mentor by eliminating Kane, and there was 6 men. Well, 4 if you realize that DiBiase and Rhodes were fighting for Orton. Legacy ganged up on The Undertaker while Triple H fought Big Show. Big Show hit the chokeslam on Triple H, and the Legacy were getting their asses handed to them by The Undertaker. The dead man gave each of them a chokeslam. Once again, Big Show and Undertaker fought. The two were at the jaws of elimination, and Orton RKO'd Big Show out. The Big Show then noticed that The Undertaker was standing on the apron, then he pulled The Undertaker out. The two brawled in the crowd, and there was 4 in the ring. The final 4 were Triple H, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, and Randy Orton. Basically, it was 3-on-1. The Legacy ganged up on Triple H for a few minutes, but then the game made a comeback. The game threw out both DiBiase and Rhodes, but then Orton capitalized on this by throwing Triple H out to win the 2009 Royal Rumble. What a fun Rumble. I really love this one. Like, it had so much star power and I loved it. I'm not sure if it had more star power than 2008, because 2008 had HBK, John Cena, and Batista. This one also had Chris Jericho, Big Show, and Randy Orton, so maybe they're equal. Plus, this one had Rey Mysterio and RVD, so it was awesome. Now, I love this event. I love the opener. Matt Hardy had a good match with Jack Swagger. Melina and Beth Phoenix was pretty good for a Divas match at the time. John Cena and JBL's match depended heavily on HBK, but I still enjoyed it. The no disqualification match was good. It wasn't great. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it was good. And the Rumble match was basically like freaking fun. The ring was never empty at all. Most of the match, the ring was full. It's simple as that. So yeah, I like that Orton won, although it was a bit predictable, but it did make sense because Orton was about to be fired. He fought for his job during the match. Like, Rhodes and DiBiase sacrificed their place in the Rumble to help Orton. It was awesome. That's the blueprint of how a tag team should work in the Royal Rumble. And that's it. After I finished this event, I felt like watching No Way Out, but I just realized that if I were to watch No Way Out, I'd have to talk about it, and I'd like to do that a few weeks from now. Like, that was an awesome event. It's one of the best of 2009. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit a pedigree on the like button, and perhaps an RKO on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.